Hello and welcome to A Game of Two Halves. I'm your host Sam Hill. On the show we'll be visiting a disability sports club in Fishguard, speaking with a parkrun director on how important the weekly run is for the community, getting to know USW third year football coaching and performance student Matthew George, while finishing off with an exciting tennis challenge. But first, it's time for the sporting headlines. Across Wales to club football first, and Cardiff City have appointed caretaker Omar Rizza until the end of the season after taking over from Errol Bullitt in October. The Bluebirds will hope to pick up their first win in 5 matches as they host playoff hopefuls Watford. Tomorrow afternoon, meanwhile, Swansea will look to get back to winning ways against Championship strugglers Luton Town after a 2-2 draw at home to Portsmouth last time out. Newport are also in action tomorrow, where they will host relegation-threatened Carlisle United. On to rugby next, and all 4 regional sides are in action this weekend, with the Dragons hosting Montpellier tonight at Rodney Parade. Cardiff travel to Lyon and the Scarlets head to Bayonne. Meanwhile, the Ospreys welcome the informed Lions to the Swansea.com stadium. Cardiff Devils are also in action over the weekend, where they will face Belfast Giants, with the Devils looking to extend their lead at the top of the table. Finally, on to boxing, as Crummock twins Johan and Garen Croft will make their professional debuts on Saturday on the War in Waterford undercard, with Johan fighting at middleweight and Garen competing at super welterweight. Our first show of the day takes us to Pembrokeshire, where Disability Sports Club Fishguard Thunderbolts are based, and since being founded in 2017, have managed to produce a Welsh cricket star. James Dow reports.
Every Tuesday evening at Fishguard Leisure Centre, the Fishguard Thunderbolts gather together to take part in fun football sessions created by founder Brian Millard. The group have been running for 7 years, starting with an all-sports session on a Friday night and then expanding to an additional football session on a Tuesday, with Brian highlighting how important it is to get young people and adults with additional learning needs, not just exercise and keep fit, but to be able to socialise and make friends.
People with ALN needs, let's take my daughter for example. You know, there's no youth club for her to go to. She doesn't go out with her friends on a Friday, Saturday night. She doesn't have that clique of friends. So to have somewhere for them to go and just, even if it's just to socialise, I don't care if they can't kick a ball or can't hit a badminton shuttlecock, it doesn't matter. Quite often on a Friday, I set out all these things: table tennis, badminton, bocce, new age curling. And after about 20 minutes, they're just stood in the corner having a chat and laughing and joking and having fun. And that's probably 80% of it. With the football, we're involved with 7 other teams throughout South Wales. Ammerford, Heronsbridge, Clarby Warriors, Port Talbot, RCT Tigers, Swansea Bravehearts, and ourselves, and Aberystwyth All Stars. And what we do is each month on a Sunday, we'll go to each venue. So all 7 teams meet at the venue, and then we play like a knockout festival.
A special member of the team, however, is Mark Evans, who, when he was diagnosed with autism, would struggle to leave his own house before joining the Thunderbolts in 2022. But since then, Mark has gone on to play for Wales in cricket, a sport he had never played until joining the Thunderbolts.
Brian and David they started the Super Ones on a Thursday here, and I'd never played cricket, but they got started with that, and I just love it. And that led to me going to the Welsh softball disability training in Neyland with Cricket Wales, and that just took off, and I love it. And we've just won the league unbeaten this year, and I got the opportunity to play for the first team, and I got my Welsh cap. I'm also playing for Haverfordwest, which is unheard. I couldn't have even imagined that 2.5 years ago. No, it's just not me.
Quite remarkable story, shows how much good sport can bring to a community and help bring people out of their comfort zones. And by finishing off with penalty kicks, it was a great chance to once further boost the group's confidence by scoring goals or even making some great saves along the way.
We stay in Pembrokeshire for our next story, where James Dow spoke to Haverfordwest Parkrun Director Jonathan Twigg on how important the activity is for the physical and mental well-being of the runners.
Haverfordwest Parkrun started up in September 2017 and has seen 7,130 participants complete the run, covering a total distance of over 116,000 kilometres. As well as the participants of the race, the volunteers are vital for the run to go ahead, with their jobs varying from setting up the course to acting as marshals during the run, or even cheering on the participants when they are struggling and are in need for that extra bit of motivation.
I got involved because of Lawrence Worth. He's the one that started this off many years ago in Haverfordwest, and he put a plea out on a Friday night to say, can anybody help me out? I need a volunteer tomorrow. And I responded to it, went down and volunteered on a Saturday morning down here, where I marshalled alongside 2 other people. And the rest is history. I managed to stay involved and did a lot of volunteering, and through natural progression, I then became a run director, and that run director allows me now to go out, and I'm the one that sets the course up 6 o'clock in the morning, and I actually run the actual event for health and safety wise as well, but for participants to go and enjoy it like yourself, to have a run round in awful conditions, but come back with a smile as long as a mile.
As well as getting people out and keeping fit, it also gives a chance for the park runners to socialise and make new friends from all over the county and beyond. Coffee and cake is available after the race for people to go and have a rest and have a chance to meet up with their fellow park runners.
We've got runners as young as 11 out here, and we've also got U3A people, if I can put it like that are 3rd generation, some as close to the 80s, if not octogenarians. And it's just that social wise where they can have a little bit of confidence being able to come and talk to us as well. But from my point of view, it is that fresh air, that well-being. We've got a wonderful park here that's utilised by the people of Haverfordwest. And this is just an event that brings people together. It's non-competitive, but at the end of the day, it gives everybody that challenge to get out of bed on a Saturday morning. And it's the same faces, and then it's delighted to see new faces coming along and building that parkrun family.
I was inspired by the work that goes on during every run and felt motivated myself to take part in the event. It was great to be able to run and meet so many fantastic people along the way, even if I was a bit sore in the legs the morning after.
I'm now joined by 3rd year sports journalism student Iestyn Thomas. First question, Iestyn, you've been writing a blog, the Open Side blog. What have you been producing for that, and how have you finding it?
Yeah, so I started, well, a long time ago now, back in 2020. It was during the COVID period, and there was the Super Rugby Arturo competition in New Zealand taking place at the same time. So, the sport, obviously there's a time off with all sports during the pandemic, but that was kind of the first competition really back in rugby union. And, I was speaking to a couple of people, speaking to my dad, and I wasn't able to see him much during the pandemic because we were living separately. And he suggested, why don't you write about some of these games? And it saved him from waking up at 4:30 in the morning to catch some of the New Zealand time zones as well. So it was quite beneficial. I didn't really expect it to kind of reach as far as it did, but just to start off, to just start writing about rugby, and it just kind of kicked off from there.
And that's carried on through to the course, and you've kind of felt more at home with written journalism onto the course. Why do you think that is? What is it you enjoy about that written side of it?
Not too sure really, because you go to games, and if something happens quite late on, you're in a bit of a mad rush to make sure everything's written down and everything's written down correctly about what's happened. But yeah, I just kind of enjoy some days just sitting down in front of a laptop, looking over different teams, different players, and how they play and things like that. And yeah, it's just kind of always kind of been the preferred thing, probably because I've spent a lot of time doing it, during my days at A-level back in school, and it kind of just continued on then as I joined the course.
And has producing, directing for the TV project maybe changed the way you look at maybe producing content going forward?
Yeah, it's been different. It's an enjoyable experience, but I'm quite looking forward to, once all this is done, to be sitting in front of a laptop and back writing again.
Next, we hear from Matthew George, USW 3rd year football coaching and performance student, on his time at university and his role within the Haverfordwest County Academy setup.
My dream was to be a professional player. So due to some personal reasons, I couldn't be a player. So I thought I'd be a coach, and had done so much research on being a football coach and doing a degree related to football. And at last I found USW is the best option for me. And on 2022, I came to UK, and now I am on my final year of the course. For me, it's a wonderful experience. So all the tutors are FAW, all the tutors are part of FAW, and we are having very good football experience. great facilities, and also I can do my coach education as part of my course, so it's a very great experience for me. At the beginning of the year 2 at my uni, so I was looking for a placement, kind of work and get more knowledge and experience. So I found there's a vacancy for a coach at Halves West by LinkedIn, and I connected Ashley Hopkins, the former head of coaching, and I was selected for an interview, and at last I was successful, and I was from last season I was part of Halves West County, and the first season I was working with foundation phase and assisting the youth development and the supporting the development team. So this season I'm working with the under 9. So when I am graduated, I'll be a UEFAB qualified coach, and I want to progress. My aim is to progress to UEFA Pro license. So after B, I want to continue my coach education, and I want to be qualified as a licensed coach. And from Halves West, I'm already gaining much experience and knowledge, and after this I'm looking for a better opportunity, either within Halves West or within other clubs or other organizations.
Our final segment of the show sees third-year sports journalism students face off in a tennis challenge to try and determine the next Andy Murray. Tom Murphy was our host.
So today we're going to be testing out the sport journalism students at the University of South Wales hand-eye coordination with a little tennis challenge. Let's see whoever they got.
Johan Thomas, the Rafael Nadal without a tan.
Johan Saunders, Carlos Alcaraz from Cymru. Jordan Jones, Adam Levine's brother.
Matt Priest. Yeston Thomas. I've got nothing to say.
Solid. That's the best so far, that is, yo. So the winner of today's challenge is Johan Thomas.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That is all we have time for in this episode of A Game of Two Halves. Here is a taste of what's to come in the next episode at 12:30.
I only have 10% of my vision. You look at me now, you would never see that I've only got 10% of my vision.
And some of those little jobs have got me into places like the Principality and Cardiff Arms Park.
It's also a chance to socialise with players and friends that I've known at this club for a very long time. So it's been an important part of my rehab.
I've been Sam Hill, and thank you for tuning in to this episode of A Game of Two Halves, and thank you to all the production team involved in putting the content together, taking part in our brilliant tennis challenge, and operating the cameras and equipment while we've been showing. Thank you all for listening. Goodbye.